and having an impact right here in Beaver County. Your friends and neighbors at St. Barnabas are pleased to support the best of Beaver County. The radio broadcast will also be replayed each week from 11:30 to noon on Sundays on Beaver County. Beaver County videos can be viewed on WBBP and the NBA Facebook page. It's your chance to learn more of the best of Beaver County with host Mike Robot this Thursday starting at 11. For more information, visit beavercountyradio.com. You're listening. Presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBBP Beaver Falls.
The views and opinions expressed on WBBP and
Okay, because I'm not hearing anything here.
They are not necessarily the viewpoints of WBBP and WNBA staff management and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBBP and WNBA.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Thinking Logically. It's your host, Joseph Anthony Corsai here. Boy, has it been a rumble over the last 72 hours, all these confirmation hearings. Fireworks, political fights, even almost a cat fight. Biden gave his farewell speech. We'll talk about that a little bit later. His son, Hunter, he may need another pardon. Lord knows what he's happening now. You all right, Ryan, over there? You okay?
Yeah, trying to tie up some ends here. All good, my man. How you doing today?
I am great. Did you see the fireworks between Nancy Mace and Jasmine Crockett the other day?
I did not.
Yeah, Nancy Mace told Jasmine Crockett we could take it outside. Let me get the exact quote. Crockett was saying something about, talking about Nancy Mace. She's going to keep on saying trans, trying to make money off the word child, listen. And then Nancy Mace snapped back and said, I am no child. Do not call me a child. I am a grown woman if you want to take this outside.
Wow.
And I have to remind our audience, I believe Nancy Mace did work at a Waffle House. So you probably don't want to mess with her. Okay, the first thing we're going to get to is the confirmation hearings that happened the last couple days. They continue on today, actually, too. Yesterday we had Pam Bondi, Marco Rubio, some others. On Tuesday it was Pete Hegseth, who I thought did outstanding. We're going to get to some of those audio files in a minute. Today we had Doug Burgum, who, if you remember, tore his Achilles the day before the first Republican presidential debate. Ryan, have you ever torn your Achilles?
I have not, but it sounds terrible.
It is. I tore my Achilles. It was not fun. And the fact that a few days after he tore his Achilles, he was able to stand up at the podium and do a debate is very impressive.
Wow.
Shows he's a tough guy. But he was on Capitol Hill today for his confirmation hearing. Doug was nominated by Trump to be the new Secretary of the Interior. Now, we're going to play a clip from Senator Hirono, and this is how you know this confirmation hearings aren't serious. The Democrats don't care about asking substantive questions. They just want personal questions about reports from anonymous sources. This is Mazie Hirono's first question to nominee for the Secretary of the Interior, Doug Burgum. Listen, go ahead and play that, Ryan. Did you hear that first question, Ryan? Because I know you've been running around like a maniac.
I did not. I missed it.
I'll repeat the first question. Since you've been a legal adult, have you requested sexual favors from anyone? That was the what the hell was that? This is a confirmation hearing for the Secretary of the Interior. And the first question you ask is if this man ever tried to put you know what in a secretary's interior. Isn't this what part of the FBI background checks are for? Is this woman serious? I guess she is, because she keeps on asking the same question to all the nominees. She asked Pam Bondi the exact same question. Since you've been a legal adult, have you requested sexual... Ryan, did they ask you that at the radio station when you applied?
I've never gotten that one, no.
You're a producer like P. Diddy, so you figured you would get something like that. You know how else I know these hearings aren't serious, audience? Because the Dems are now asking questions about QAnon. Ryan, play the QAnon audio whenever you get a chance, please. A cabal of satanic, cannibalistic child molesters, Ryan, in our government.
Jeez.
Well, it's fake news. I mean, he just heard that's conspiracy theory. Sure, Jeffrey Epstein hung himself in prison out of nowhere. Sure, Ghislaine Maxwell had numerous ties to, I don't know, it goes back to England, the prince, who knows who else, and she went to jail for trafficking children to no one. So, again, that was Senator Durbin using his time to ask Pam Bondi about what her and Kash Patel think about QAnon, which, in case you just woke up from a coma, is a cabal of satanic, cannibalistic child molesters that run our government. This guy's supposed to be asking Pam Bondi about her positions, the position she's actually going for, Attorney General. Why is he obsessed with asking her about Kash Patel and QAnon? Let's go back to Pete Hegseth on Tuesday. I'm going to play a clip by Senator Duckworth. She asked Pete Hegseth if he ever passed an audit. And as you listen to this audit, remember that the Pentagon has never passed an audit, I don't think. Ryan, play Herodo's... Duckworth, I'm sorry. So she's basically asking him if he ever audited himself. Maybe I don't understand that correctly. Who even audits themselves? If you're in charge, you usually don't audit yourself. Someone else does. And besides, when was the last time the Pentagon passed an audit? I'm generally asking. If you know, call in. When was the last time the Pentagon passed an audit? And then there's what former Hillary Clinton running mate Tim Kaine asked about Pete Hegseth when it was his time. Ryan, play Tim Kaine's line of questioning, please. Why don't they just dip them in hot, bubbling, burning oil? I don't know. Again, these are supposed to be questions about, being the Secretary of Defense. I understand if you can't keep it in your pants and you're going everywhere, that might be a problem. That might be a problem on foreign trips But again, how about some questions about Secretary of Defense? Being Secretary of Defense, what it takes. And coming from Tim Kaine has room to talk. His son, I'll remind our audience, was arrested for rioting with Antifa members in 2016 or 17 in Minnesota. It might have been Minneapolis. I think that was 2017. Don't worry though, audience. He got probation. Talk about two different systems of justice. Another highlight for the Republican side was Senator Mark Mullen. He rebuked Senator Tim Kaine later on, whenever he got his chance to speak. Ryan, actually play that audio. Mark Mullen, listen to this. We all have made mistakes. And just to correct Mark Mullen, he said, give me a joke. He should have said, give me a break. I'm sure he'll get raked over the coals for saying that punchline wrong. Elizabeth Warren, we don't have her audio, but she had some comments about why a general, we're not even going to get into it. I just remember, speaking of drinking, Elizabeth Warren, Ryan, you might remember this. Whenever she announced that she was running for president in 2020, do you remember she went live? She was the first person on the Democrat side to announce she was running in 2020. She had to crack open a beer and do it while drinking a beer because she thought she was so cool. Do you remember that or no?
No, I
Yeah,
don't.
so she cracked open a beer and announced she was running for president, was drinking the beer, and then apparently she got so drunk she ran around thinking she was an Indian for the next 4 years. All right, so I guess this came out today. Utah Senator John Curtis says he is going to vote yes on Hegseth. Joni Ernst says she's a yes, so Pete's getting confirmed. Pam Bondi did well yesterday, and today I think too. She's getting confirmed. Doug's getting confirmed. Rubio will get confirmed. They're getting confirmed. So, again, mark it up as a small victory today in this week. Let's move on to from the House of Representatives to a state Senate House. The Georgia state senator and Trump supporter Colton Moore was arrested today for trying to attend the State of the State joint session today. The Speaker of the House in Georgia, John Burns, ordered for him to be arrested. Moore, I guess, tried to enter the chamber and got physically blocked from entering. They stationed police and guards outside the door, and when he tried to get in, they wrestled him to the ground. I watched the video. He definitely took a dive, but he did fall on his behind. So Moore got suspended from the GOP caucus of Georgia last year after he called for the impeachment of Fani Willis. Now it makes sense. This is his political account on X put this out. Senator Colton Moore, who exposed and defeated corrupt District Attorney Fani Willis last year, has been arrested by anti-Trump Speaker of the Georgia House, John Burns. Colton is being held in the same Atlanta jail as President Trump. We are working to ensure his expedient release. Please pray for all those standing up for freedom and peace and for all Georgians. Team Moore. So again, why this guy? Why did he actually get arrested? I actually don't know. Maybe a rule of decorum. So I don't know. Other than that, I don't know. But moving on, the hostage deal. Ryan, did you see they made a hostage deal, Donald Trump, between Israel and Hamas?
No, I didn't see it. What was that?
Well, I don't think it was Trump. I think it was more Biden. I don't know who's time to take credit for it. But the hostage deal in Gaza will go into effect, I believe, January 19th, one day before Trump enters office. You have to remember, he said about a week ago, Donald Trump I'm talking about here, he said, if the hostages aren't back by the time I get into office, I think he said, quote, all hell is going to break loose. And then what do you know? Israel and Hamas just the other day agreed to a ceasefire and hostage deal. I think 23 of the 33 hostages that are going to be released under this deal are still alive. So that's a good thing. I looked into a few things about the deal. I don't love it. It gives Hamas some wiggle room, but I don't know. It's a deal. Hostages are coming home. Both sides are trying to take credit for this, I guess. But we all have to agree that Joe Biden had nothing to do with this deal, right? Like nothing. Ryan, you agree too, I'm sure. Joe Biden had nothing at all to do with this deal.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm hearing this for the first time.
I mean,
now.
maybe as a minister, they probably woke him up one morning and said, "Hey, you got to go out and say something shortly. We got this hostages to come back. Just relax as we inject this horse steroid directly into your heart." Then his eyes jet back. I picture that how it happens. But so there is a deal done. Like I said, who got the deal done? I'm sure this has been going on since October 7th of 2020. Is it 2020? Yeah, 2023. So I'm sure Trump coming back into office in 4 days, much like when Reagan was about to be president in early 1980, had a giant reason, early 1981, had a giant reason why this deal got done. Okay, so the Senate seat in Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis has appointed Ashley Moody, Attorney General of Florida, to be the next U.S. Senator from Florida. There was talks about it being possibly Matt Gaetz, but I guess he's keeping his TV job. Moody is a staunch Trump ally who has filled multiple suits in defense of Trump and is currently working to hold accountable the Palm Beach would-be assassin. I think that's Ryan Ruth. Moody has also sued FEMA for discriminating against Trump supporters' homes recently after the hurricane damage. Remember that story, guys? We covered that one. That was a fake news story until the one woman from FEMA got on and admitted it. So Miss Moody, or Mrs. Moody, maybe, I don't know, she also joined a coalition of states backing Trump's border security plan leading up to his inauguration. And replacing her as AG is going to be James Uthmeier. It's a cool name, Uthmeier. So that's what's wrapping up here in the Senate. All the seats are going to be filled here. We are slowly building a coalition for Trump. We have the Senate, we have the House, we have it all. All right, we're going to take a break, but when we return, famed artist Hunter Biden. If he's an artist, I guess, then I'm a saint. Some of his artwork has burned down in the Cali wildfires. Stay tuned. We'll talk about it when we return. I'm Thinking Logic on 99.3 FM, WBVP.
It's Joe again from Thinking Logically, here to tell you about one of my favorite clothing items, the MyPillow hoodie. Two things I love the most about this hoodie are how it fits and how it feels. This hoodie is extremely roomy and its terry cloth material makes it lighter than any other hoodie I own. Use promo code LOGIC to maximize your savings. The MyPillow hoodie. Get yours today. It's Joe Corsi here from Thinking Logically to tell you about Beaver County's #1 realtor, Mark Gullah with RE/MAX Select Realty. With over 10 years experience, Mark knows all the ins and outs of the real estate business, so whether you're looking to rent, buy, sell, or swap your house, you can rely on Mark to take the hassle out. Mark Gullah of RE/MAX Select Realty, going above and beyond.
Tri-State Sporting Arms on Main Street in New Brighton is now open. Stop in and explore their extensive selection of high-quality firearms, pistols, and accessories. Tri-State Sporting Arms also pays top dollar for used firearms. Their experienced and highly trained staff is here to assist you in selecting the right firearm for you. Stop on down to Beaver County's newest firearm store, Tri-State Sporting Arms, at 807 3rd Avenue, New Brighton, or check them out on Facebook.
Sometimes the holidays can last a little too long, but usually it's no big deal if you discover a leftover fruitcake in your refrigerator. This is Pat Travail from Freedom United Federal Credit Union. On the other hand, high interest charges from store credit cards can really start to stink too. With approved credit, you can transfer your existing balances to our low fixed rate Visa card now and put freedom in your future. Visit Freedom United Federal Credit Union, member NCUA, equal housing lender.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WNBA are those of the participants and hosts. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WNBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WB.
Welcome back to Thinking Logically here on 99.3 FM WBVP. Should that be the Hunter Biden theme song? I can think of a lot.
I think so.
Lit Up maybe by Buck Cherry could be one. We could think of a lot.
Yeah, right.
Huey Lewis, I want a new drug. Bum, bum. And then it could be Ghostbusters for Joe Biden. It's been pretty much the same song because he sees ghosts and tries to shake their hands. Wow. Wow. All right. Did you hear, Ryan, have you seen this? Have you heard about this? The Hunter Biden artwork?
No, you mentioned it briefly before the show. I can't wait to hear what this is about.
So nearly 200 of Hunter Biden's artworks, I guess that's how you'd call it, worth millions of dollars, or should I say insured for millions of dollars, were destroyed in the California wildfires. That's according to the New York Post. You know, I want to be in the room when this insurance claim is filed. How does that even work? Do you know, Ryan, does an adjuster have to show up for this, you think? Does an adjuster have to show up to the house and look at these paintings and see that they're burned?
You would think something. I mean, you know,
someone's showing up to look at this. I mean, I hit a deer, and I have people question, where's the fur on the car? So I kind of would be surprised if an insurance adjuster didn't show up. And then again, maybe he gets killed too. Who knows if he? So anyway, this has to be insurance fraud. I mean, say, maybe I should insure my son's finger paintings and then leave my oven on over the weekend. What do you think, Ryan? Hunter's going to have to ask for an extension on his pardon. I'm telling you, after this one, he better take it out of his back pocket and check the stipulations. But seriously, Ryan, seriously. It burns me up inside. No pun intended, I guess. It burns me up inside that he's able to get away with it. This has all the makings for a big tax write-off scheme. Plus, hold on, let me read it. I guess they were in his storage unit that burned down? Is that what you do with your priceless paintings, Ryan? Keep them in your storage unit or your garage?
Oh, usually, yeah.
I mean, shouldn't it be in a museum right down the road somewhere? Okay, another question, Ryan, because I know you're busy. Would you ever hang a Hunter Biden painting in your home?
Would I what?
Ever hang a Hunter Biden painting in your home?
No.
Did you ever see the laptop pictures and videos? The only thing Hunter Biden was painting was girls' faces.
Really?
This is too R-rated for radio, I think. Way too R-rated for radio. But I want to know when he goes to jail over this or when he gets investigated. Again, something that valuable would have to just be on display somewhere. You're not going to keep it locked up in the garage. All right, we got to move on. So speaking of the fires, this is from the Daily Mail. An eerie new crime scene photo shows the exact spot where the Pacific Palisades fire started. Now, this photo, I guess, marks, the exact spot. Part of the Temescal Ridge Trail in LA Palisades Highland community was seen cordoned off with a crime scene tape Monday night. The tape appeared to surround a burn scar, and that's from KTLA. Fireworks are illegal in LA, if everyone remembers. But Pacific Palisades, I guess it's feared that teens caused or triggered a small blaze that night by setting off fireworks on the trail New Year's Eve. So it was out, I guess everything was fine, and then we had the drought-like conditions and parlayed with high winds, and like I said, although the initial fire was out, it must have been smoldering for a couple days and then reignited, and that's what investigators now believe. So there's been no definitive determination that it is arson at this point. That's according to LAPD Assistant Chief Dominic Choi, but they're looking at every angle, according to him. So if this is the case, does it at least rule out climate change? I'll tell you what it doesn't rule out. The fact that we had a homeless illegal alien arrested with a blowtorch, whether it's a teenager or an illegal though. Thanks to Gavin Newsom, the fire response was delayed and inhibited. But wait, it gets better. Or worse. Because Gavin Newsom and his actions and policies aren't only responsible for destroying all these homes, but Gavin Newsom and his policies will be the reason why people can't rebuild their homes for probably over a decade. I think the last time on average there was a fire like this, it took people on average around 8 to 12 years to rebuild their homes. So you might as well just sell your land, right? Right? Nope. Gavin Newsom says you can't do that either. He tweeted out a new executive order he signed. Let me pull it up and read it here. Today I signed an executive order prohibiting greedy land developers from ripping off LA wildfire victims with unsolicited, undervalued offers to buy their destroyed property. Make no mistake, this is a prosecutable crime. Okay, look, that might be a great policy. The first good thing Gavin Newsom has ever done. But remember, Gavin Newsom created the situation where home and landowners now have to do a fire sale, no pun intended, to offload their burned down homes. Remember, some don't even have insurance. Because, Ryan, can you guess why? Gavin Newsom's policies. I knew you were about to say that.
That was exactly what I was going to say.
I mean, they kind of let in pretty good there. It's Gavin, it's the policies. So again, how hard is it to live in California? It's the policies. The policies are going to stop you from rebuilding your house. You can't, again, I don't necessarily disagree with the executive order, but again, he created the situation. So, has this fire gotten to Hollywood? I never hear anything about Hollywood anymore, whether it's making movies, anything.
It's so hard to tell, Joe. I mean, with AI, it's hard to tell what's real and what isn't. At one time, I seen the Hollywood sign on fire, and then I realized it was an AI, and so I don't know what I'm looking at anymore.
Brother, it ain't going to be AI after I read you this next story. So speaking of Hollywood, Donald Trump just announced that he is appointing, get ready, brace for impact, Jon Voight, Sylvester Stallone, and Mel Gibson as special ambassadors to Hollywood, California.
What?
Let me just make sure. Let me make sure this isn't fake news. He tweeted this. No, he True Social and tweeted this out. It is my honor to announce Jon Voight, Mel Gibson, and Sylvester Stallone to be special ambassadors to a great but very troubled place, Hollywood, California. They will serve as special envoys to me for the purpose of bringing Hollywood, which has lost much business over the last 4 years to foreign countries, back, bigger, better, and stronger than before. These three very talented people will be my eyes and ears, and I will get done what they suggest. It will again be like the United States of America itself, the golden age of Hollywood. Whew. Anything before I just go crazy here?
No, just
So
listen.
hopefully Trump sent them to Hollywood to open up diplomatic talks with the movie studios to get them to stop doing old remakes. I am so sick of old remakes. Enough! Come up with an original movie script or two. How about that? Trump though, he's absolutely amazing. I mean, let's just back up. This dude was working at McDonald's a couple months ago. Then he was picking up garbage. Now he's doing this. Absolutely amazing. First, he gets a deal done with Israel and Hamas. Then he sends Mel Gibson to Hollywood to take care of the Jews, Ryan. But Ryan, do you think the Mel Gibson audio tapes will resurface? Remember the Mel Gibson audio tapes from like 15 years ago?
Oh, I'm sure somebody will pull them out.
This is going to be fun, though. Mel Gibson. So, more probable in the next 4 years. He reprises his role for the movie The Patriot, or he'll be walking over a nuclear wasteland that was once America, like in The Road Warrior. What's more like, it could be both. We could see both. All right, speaking of movies, let's move to cartoons. Do you like cartoons, Ryan?
I love cartoons.
Oh, you'll love this story. Washington Post cartoonist arrested for child porn.
Oh, jeez.
Still like cartoons?
I hate cartoons.
Well, you can still like cartoons. Didn't we just talk about this kind of stuff happening last week with the Pizzagate stuff?
Yes.
Anyway, this cartoonist was a Pulitzer Prize winning Washington Post cartoonist and Trump hater. His name, Darren Bell. and he was arrested for AI child porn. Wait, AI child porn? I think they were AI videos. Again, this guy won a Pulitzer, but AI generated child pornography? Okay, Ryan, honestly, honest opinion, because this might be an unpopular opinion. Is AI generated evidence enough, or is it a thought crime like the book 1984? It's a tough question. I don't want to. Hey, I don't want, just because it's child porn, I don't want to touch it.
Yeah, right.
But to play devil's advocate, were these images his? Or again, were they placed there by the FBI?
Yeah, you're
This
right.
just seems too crazy. I want to bite on this. It maybe is. Again, this dude was very vocal against Trump, so you know, if you're a Blue Anon person, maybe accuse Trump of having someone put these images on his computer. But again, the guy was so vocally anti-Trump, and some of these people, they hide behind the public outrage and all this stuff, and then behind the scenes, they just engage in this behavior. Again, a lot of vocal criticisms about Trump and about grooming and stuff like that make these charges maybe a little bit more damning. Again, AI child porn. In a search of Bell's home, investigators found 134 videos of child pornography linked to an account owned and controlled by Bell, as well as a computer-generated artificial intelligence child. So maybe he did have some actual child porn. Not that that's a good thing, but again, not saying it's okay, but on AI evidence, that's a slippery slope. Wow, that is a crazy ethical question to ask. I don't know.
You know what's sick to me, Joe? You know, excuse me. AI is not. It's relatively new. It's in its infantile stage, of course. And you know, ever since it came out, somebody's come up with this idea to make child AI porn. That's disturbing to me. You know what I mean? In that period of time, since the AI was here, nothing like this has even crossed my mind. The fact that somebody thought of it, went and did it, put it out there.
Very quick. That's like, we invented fire and then we went right to pornography.
Yeah, exactly.
Invented fire.
It's just baffling because people around you in society obviously are looking or watching or whatever you would do with it or making it, and that's really disturbing to me.
Well, if you remember the internet, one of the first things to come on the internet was porn.
Yeah.
I mean, there's movies about it, there's everything. And one of the first industries to utilize getting your data, like trailblazers, was the porn industry.
Yeah.
So if you're listening out there, again,
And it's child
whatever you want
porn,
to do.
no less.
Yeah.
That's what's, you know what I mean? If adults want to, whatever, that's whatever. But kids, this is people, it goes right to the people's mind. Oh, there's AI, let's create this freakish child. It's weird. It's
Even if you would say, hey, let's put all the child molesters and people like that on an island and give them AI porn. That's just a weird, I mean,
It is
come on,
weird.
like.
I agree. I'm not getting it. I don't. This AI is going to potentially be pretty scary.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break, but when we return, Joe Biden, again, doesn't have that much longer left. Not life, I'm just saying presidency, literally 4 days away. So we're going to talk about his farewell address when we come back. But for Joe, it's Jover until then. Stay tuned. Listen to Thinking Logic on 99.3 FM WBVP.
Here is a question that's very easy to answer. Would you rather be sold something or get professional help and advice that ultimately
Alright, so in
leads
this
to a
one,
strategy that best suits your
Don't
needs?
forget, I'm going to call
Tom
for the
Young at
Joe
First Consulting
Biden
Sync
My
and
Pillow
Beaver has a
commercial,
unique approach
and then
that
going
is
into the
harder to
commercial
trust than
break,
even the most
have the
skeptical
Joe
client.
Biden My Pillow commercial as the
Everybody's
first
selling
commercial.
is looking for a profit.
I think there's one audio
I
thing
focus on
too.
creating strategies that are in their client's best interest.
Ask yourself this: what have you got to lose? The answer might be a fortune. Get financial strategies instead of a pitch about a product. Visit firstconsultantsinc.com or be a part of Tom Young's live simulcast presentation on the third Tuesday of each month beginning at 9:10 a.m. on Beaver County Radio and Facebook Live. All advisory services are offered through PL Wealth LLC. PL Wealth is a federally registered investment advisor. PL Wealth is in no way affiliated with First Consultants Inc., nor is First Consultants Inc. a registered investment advisor. Beaver County Radio, your hometown radio station. You're listening live from the Fry Transportation Studios. Beaver County Radio and Fry Transportation, proud to call Beaver County home.
Hey everyone, it's Joe from Thinking Logically here to tell you about one of my favorite places to eat, Bowser's Restaurant in Monaco. I'm a big fan of their 2-meat plate. Sometimes I get it with the pulled pork, and sometimes I get it with ribs, but I always get it with their amazing brisket. Don't forget to try all their smokehouse sides as well. Takeout and catering available too. Again, that's Bowser's Restaurant at 1493 Old Broadhead Road in Monaco.
Are you looking for a different kind of morning talk show? One that's in a town hall setting? With politics, sports, and much more. Just not in that particular order. Then join Frank Sparks weekday mornings at 6:30 for Driving in the Fast Lane on WBVP.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and hosts. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Welcome back to Thinking Logic here on 99.3 FM WBVP. If you'd like to call in, the number to call in is 724-843-1888 or 724-774-1888. We're going to talk about Joe Biden's farewell address now. So I don't know if any of you seen or watched this. In his farewell address, President Joe Biden warned the nation about the dangers of an ultra-wealthy oligarchy that must, quote, pay their fair share of taxes. Keep in mind that Hunter Biden, Joe's son, was indicted on tax evasion charges in California and was eventually blanket pardoned for those crimes. Blanket pardoned. Is that like an expression now? Is that a word? Blanket. He was blanket pardoned. Also, he wants to talk about taxes. If Joe Biden wanted to change any of the tax laws in this country, he could have done it the last 4 years, especially the first two when they had the House and Senate, the Democrats. Instead, he kept the Trump tax cuts from 2017 on the books. I just don't understand. Ryan, play the audio I have of Joe Biden's farewell address, and I want to touch some points on that. The tech industrial complex. Joe Biden, I'll remind our audience, loved, because Mark Zuckerberg was just on Rogan talking about this. Joe Biden loved Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook and the tech industrial complex in 2021 and 2022 when they were taking people off social media for talking about the vaccine or Lord knows what else. And now he's concerned about money and politics? Is this dude taking Hunter's stuff? He just gave the Presidential Medal of Freedom to George Soros. I don't get it. Does he think we're special needs, that we would forget that? That was literally just last week. I know we have a short memory, and there's been a lot of domestic terror attacks and stuff like that, but come on. Ryan, this was Joe Biden's farewell address. Do you think it was taped? And if so, how many takes do you think it took? Be honest, do you think it was taped? Yes or no? No, maybe not. It's just, I don't know, it's been 4 years this dude ran on restoring the soul of the nation. Remember that, audience? Remember that? Restoring the soul of the nation the last 4 years has felt more like an exorcism. Or like being shocked back to life by an AED. Just, oh, my Lord. Okay, Ryan. So Joe Biden has less than, 100 hours, like 90 hours left in his presidency.
That's crazy.
That means he won't be walking out in front of the White House cameras and lying to the American people like he's Don King. Can we talk about the awesome Joe Biden MyPillow commercial for a second that's always on this show?
It's my favorite.
Because we're audience, sad news, we're going to retire after this episode. Joe Biden's not going to be president the next time we come on. It'll be after high noon on January 20th. Trump will be president. So we're gonna retire it. It makes me sad because it's one of the most underrated promos I think ever. Ryan, can we just play it real quick without a commercial? Just play it one more. I want to hear it. Okay, now, Ryan, I have the papers here. I got the papers right here from April until, actually, I don't have from January 1st to January 15th. I'll get those on Friday. But I have the papers. I got them right, they're right here. Do you know how many Giza Dream Sheets, My Pillow Giza Dream Sheets, that commercial has sold?
How many?
You're not gonna believe it, but as of December 31st, 2024, 0. No, not one. And the worst part is, I've had the Giza Dream Sheets, and I love them. It's impressive. It's actually impressive to have a commercial that good and sell 0 products.
Well, it's probably, people hear the word Joe Biden and they're like, I don't know. Sometimes people aren't paying attention. They hear it when they're working. Maybe, I don't know. That's crazy.
Remember Donkey? That's such a beautifully written everything. Donkey, when he lays, when he goes to sleep and he's lying like an Egyptian king in the Giza, you can only find that near the Sierra Nevada River.
Awesome, yeah.
It's amazing. But again, we're gonna have to retire the commercial after this episode. The next time you hear it will be the last time you hear that commercial. So you still have the chance to get amazing. You could trade in paper pieces of money for warm and cool and nice cold, depending on how you feel. Honestly, it's like a mood ring for sheets. I don't even know what the price is anymore, but just use the promo code LOGIC. Again, last time you're going to hear this commercial. We're going to have to come up with a new one. I'm not sure what makes me more sad. The fact that it's the last time we're going to hear this commercial, or the fact that we're not going to hear from Joe Biden really anymore. He's going to ride off into the sunset.
Yeah.
We really didn't hear from him that much during his presidency.
No.
He went on vacation every weekend.
And the guys that are relatively, they do stay in the spotlight during their presidency, which he didn't. They kind of rode off in the sunset. You didn't hear any more from them, so I wouldn't suspect, as far as George W. Bush and Bill Clinton, these guys like this. So, you probably won't ever hear much about Joe Biden unless something really crazy goes down.
Please don't say that. That's actually a good segue to not our next topic, but our last topic. And I guess we're going to move to a commercial now and come back and talk about Donald Trump and some other things. But again, just to close out Joe Biden and the My Pillow Giza Dream Sheets. The last time you're going to hear this commercial is when we go to break. So it makes me sad. Say whatever you want about him, his policies, or the last 4 years in general. Joe Biden, that man made me laugh. It's been a very weird, when we look back, a very dangerous, yet a very funny 4 years. And I'm going to miss President Joe Biden, and nobody knows it but me. Stay tuned. You're listening to Thinking Logic on 99.3 FM.
When Joe Biden shuffles in front of the cameras to answer scripted questions during the day, he lies like Don King. But what you don't know is, when he goes to sleep at night, he lies like an Egyptian king because he uses My Pillow Giza Dream Sheets. Grown only in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River, its long staple cotton makes it ultra soft and breathable. Use the promo code LOGIC to maximize your savings on this amazing product.
Looking for home services? Call Patriot Home Care in Beaver Falls. Their staff provides company, conversation, and companionship to all patients, ensuring medications are taken on time, participating in fun community activities, personal care, meal prep, and light household work are all services provided by Patriot Home Care, all thanks to the hardworking and selfless team members. Call Patriot Home Care at 724-506-8911 or stop in Patriot Home Care at 1225 7th Avenue, Beaver Falls.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WNBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WNBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WNBA.
Welcome back to Thinking Logically here on 99.3 FM WBVP. Again, if you're itching to call in and talk about the closing moments of the Biden administration on this show, the number to call in is 724-843-1888 or 724-774-1888. It's been a fun and wild 4 years. I'd like to say I'm not going to miss it, but a little bit of me is going to miss it. If I could go over and live it all over again, wow, I would. It'd be so much fun. We've never had a president like this before. One that might not even be alive. We don't know. Okay, so moving on to the Trumps. We'll start with Don Jr. This is a funny story about Donald Trump Jr. Ryan, remember how last week he flew to Greenland?
Yes.
Okay, so this is from The Guardian, which at this point is pretty much a fake news entity, and we'll show you why. Homeless people given, this is the headline, homeless people given free lunch to attend Trump Jr. event in Greenland. People in MAGA hats at a meal last week did not know Donald Trump's son were invited off the... People in MAGA hats at meal last week did not know Donald Trump's son and were invited off the street, hotel boss says. This is all from the article. I can't pronounce his name because it's Denmark or Greenland or I don't even know what it is. Jørgen Bay Kastrup, the hotel's chief executive, said his many of guests were in fact not Trump supporters, but people his team had met on the streets, who found out only later who Trump Jr. was. Describing many of the groups as homeless people, he said Trump Jr. had just met them in the street and invited them for lunch, or his staff did. But I don't think they knew who they were inviting. Again, Ryan, how the hell can you be homeless in Greenland? Would you freeze to death? Homeless in Greenland?
I don't even want to think of that.
That can't be right. That's got to be fake news, right? But it got better. Because the author of the article actually reached out to, I think it was someone in Don Jr.'s camp, before publishing the story. And on a social media account, Don Jr. posted a screenshot of the text exchange, and like I said, he put it on the social media. Let me pull it up and read it here. 1 second, please. So it's a message from Miranda Bryant, and it says it's to Arthur, who must be, the contact or the PR guy for Donald Trump Jr. It says, "Hi, Arthur. I'm a reporter for The Guardian, and I'm working on a story from Nuuk." That's, I guess, the capital of Greenland. I've spoken to the CEO of the hotel Hans Edge, who told me that Donald Trump Jr. invited, quote, homeless people and drug dealers he had met on the streets of Nuuk who had no idea who he was for a free lunch to make it look like they were supporters of his father. Does Donald Trump Jr. have any comment on this? If so, please get back to me ASAP today. Thanks, Miranda Bryant, and then they blacked out our phone number. Lucky. The response. That's pretty wild. Did the hotel CEO provide any actual evidence that Don Jr. did that? Or are they just are you just planning to run an unsubstantiated claim with no evidence to corroborate it? She replied back, "Hi, thanks so much for your message. Does he dispute the hotel CEO's claims?" To which Arthur, the PR guy for Donald Trump Jr., wrote, "You tell me, do you think Donald Trump Jr. was wandering around Greenland inviting homeless people and drug addicts to a lunch? Or do you realize that suggestion sounds so beyond the pale ridiculous that you should feel stupid even asking the question? There were cameras following him around from the second he got there to the second he left. Did they miss him recruiting homeless people and drug addicts to his homeless person drug addict lunch?" And then I can't say what he said after, but he asked if she was blankety, blankety, blankety. Is that not an awesome exchange? And then they made points that he didn't refute the claim. The cameras weren't there for advanced scout teams that would have presumably made the offer, and she's allowing him to rebut claims and provide evidence to the contrary. I don't understand. You're a journalist. Do the journalism. Or just say there's been one unsubstantiated report about what happened. I don't get it. I don't get it. Ryan, any comments before we move on to something else about Greenland?
No, I'm good. What's up?
Okay, so Trump's been talking about buying Greenland. Well, since that's happened, things have taken a change. Remember, Trump wanted to buy Greenland or do something, and then the Danish, Denmark, they had something to say, and then Trump threatened to tariff them into oblivion. So since Trump promised to tariff Denmark if they didn't release Greenland, the Danish government came out and said it's entirely up to the people of Greenland if they want to join the United States. Ryan, talk about the art of the deal. They don't even have to join the United States. Just getting them away from the EU or getting them away from Russia or getting them away from China, it works.
Yeah.
And it's in our sphere of influence. And we did it. If we do it this way, we're going to get to this independence. We do it for free. We do it without any money at all. We already have bases there. Worst case scenario, Greenland has a population of about maybe, are they high end, 60-some thousand, 59,000 I think it is. Do the math. You could literally, it sounds crazy, but you could buy them by the citizen. Offer each citizen $100 and some thousand to be a part of America. They might take it. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm just saying, ideas are flowing. Ideas are flowing. The next 4 years are going to be absolutely epic. Speaking of the previous 4 years and what's going to happen in the next 4 years, this is a sign. Just in, FBI closes its Office of Diversity and Inclusion. That's from Fox News. So the FBI closed its DEI office, and that's just days before Donald Trump's inauguration. In recent weeks, the FBI took steps to close the Office of Diversity and Inclusion, aka the ODI, effective by December 31st, 2024. So I guess it's already closed. And that's coming from Fox News Digital. So as a nation, we are finally healing. DEI is going the way of the dodo, and we're gonna have a normal country again. I think it's very possible. We can have a normal country again, and I, for one, am excited. Any tobacco smokers out there? Ryan, are you a tobacco smoker?
Yes, I am.
Did you ever chew Zen?
Experimented in high school. Not a big fan.
So, federal health officials are authorizing Zen nicotine pouches, citing potential to help adult smokers cut back or quit. That's from the AP. Cool. I believe, am I crazy or did not hear the Biden administration wanted to ban Zen not that long ago? I'm pretty sure.
Really?
Maybe it was the FDA and not the Biden administration wanted to ban Zen, and they wanted to get rid of menthol cigarettes.
I recall hearing that.
And
yes.
flavored cigarettes.
Yes.
Well, Zen, it's going to be officially FDA authorized, and that's going to include flavors. So apparently, we're coming back. 1940s, 1950s America? I don't know. Maybe we could be one income families again. Partying off Zen. Red Dye 3. So Zen's in. Red Dye 3 out.
I did hear this about Red Dye 3.
Unfortunately, my wife is a little bit upset that it's taking so long. It's not going to be out of foods until, I think, January 2027.
Oh, wow.
So, again, it gives the companies like 2 years to get the Red Dye 3 out. And I guess it's a cancer-causing agent. And they've known about this for a while. I mean,
hasn't Red Dye 3 been in our food for, like, ever?
Yeah, and I guess Red Dye 40 they're looking at next. But, I don't know. I like the coloring, but if it's going to give me cancer, no thanks.
Yeah,
no
exactly.
Thanks, but, I like to live a little bit dangerously. But just for the color of things,
You're right.
no thank you. All right, let's do like one or two over-unders. And I guess we only got about 7 minutes left. All right, over-under. So this is Monday's episode, could be epic. Talking about being drunk at work. I may be drunk on air. I'm going to have to open a bottle of champagne. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm not going to lie, because they're not going to let they're not going to let Trump just waltz back into the White House and just start doing what he wants to do. They're going to fight him every step of the way. But over under, when will the first deportations happen and be reported? Over under. Sundown on the East Coast. So that's like 6 o'clock at the latest.
Like on the same day?
Same day.
Well, I mean, he said all along it's going to be a first day thing.
I'd be honestly, I expect it. I'd be impressed because the first day you got the parade. You got to walk. You sit down on a little chair, you sign a few executive orders, and you have the luncheon after, and then there's a ball after. You really don't get to work until Tuesday morning, whatever it is, 7, 8, 8. Well, for Joe Biden, it's just, whatever you're out of bed.
So you're asking by 6
p.m. 6 p.m. Monday night.
I'm going under.
I'm going under. You might see Tom Homan at the border, live shot of him yelling at people and throwing people over like it's a WWE. Like, remember this for Monday, like it's a WWE match. Tom Homan tossing.
Like a Royal Rumble match.
I'd like to see that.
You know what? I'm going to go after. Actually, you're going before. I'm going to go after.
It's a safe bet. You got 3 years and 364
And that's the thing, as you said, there's a lot of things that go on that particular day, and he has a lot going on. So I'm going to go after. I'm not going to go a lot after, but it'll be after 6:00 p.m. that day.
Okay, I'm going to go under. So.
What time is the actual inauguration?
Noon. So yeah,
Okay.
6 hours. 6 hours.
With all that stuff going on, you're like, hey, you got this.
Delegate it out, Trump. If you're listening, delegate it out. You can do it. Trump was also on Dan Bongino's radio show today. It's almost as good as this radio show, Ryan. Think you'll actually hear 5 to 6 p.m. Mondays and Thursdays on Beaver County Radio, your hometown news source. WBVP and our sister stations.
The Beaver.
Yes. So Trump was on Dan Bongino radio show today, and he said he's going to look into Ray Epps and everything that took place on January 6th. And he said he's going to do it early on the administration. I can't wait. I'd like to find out who the pipe bomber is. Who's going to be the big reveal like Scooby-Doo when they take the mask off the pipe bomber?
Yeah, right.
I can't wait to find out. 2 more, and then we're going to move to close out the show here. Did you see Trump's new inauguration photo?
I have not.
It makes his mugshot look, he looks so hard. It goes hard. I mean, picture the mugshot, but harder.
Yeah.
The way it is, when you compare it with his 45th inauguration photo versus 47, he's ready to go. There's no smiles. It's all, let's get to work.
And the thing is, I mean, the guy does mean business. And I got to tell you, I mean, you listen to him talk, he's sharp. The guy's sharp for his age. And I'm starting to see a lot of these posts talking about, a lot of people that supported Kamala Harris and such, saying, that Trump is he's not sharp. Is he fit mentally? I'm thinking if you supported and felt that Joe Biden was, Donald Trump is definitely capable mentally.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's something for people that supported Joe Biden to come out and say that about Trump, because it's night and day in my opinion.
Remember, Joe Biden was fine until the debate. Everyone agreed he was fine. This is the best Joe Biden we've ever seen.
It just makes you wonder how long he's been.
We'll never find this. Is the last episode we can dig into this, because he's going to, believe me, he's going to vanish. He's going to right off into the sunset.
Yeah.
Speaking of right off into the sunset, rest in peace, Bob Uecker. Died.
Yeah, I saw that. That's
Major
terrible.
League. Oh, talk about one of my favorite characters. And a lot of people don't know this. He was was he the play-by-play or the color guy for the Brewers?
He was something. Yeah, he was.
Outstanding. Wow. Talk about a funny guy, funny role. Bob Uecker will be forever missed.
And one of the things that I always remember about Bob Uecker is the show Mr. Belvedere.
Yeah.
The setting was right here in Beaver County, Beaver Falls, actually, and Bob Uecker was the dad in that family of Mr. Belvedere. And obviously, it was taped in Hollywood, but it was always known as Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. On the show.
He made the transition from baseball to movies to shows to. Very, very diverse career.
Very talented guy.
Okay, we got to close out the show here. So, Jake Sullivan, this is our last story of the day. He gave his farewell speech from the Biden administration the other day. He said the American people are safer and the country is better off than we were 4 years ago. But he also said another thing that sounded not only weird but sinister. Ryan, play that audio. Audience, listen. An unexpected event over the next 4 days is the only thing that would bring him back. Ryan, are you nervous? Why would he say that?
Yeah, come on.
Did he just say the quiet part out loud? It almost comes off as a threat, right? Or is it just me?
No, that was peculiar.
Okay, audience, what have we heard for the past 70 plus days from everyone? Administration to the news media. A peaceful transfer of power. When they keep saying peaceful transfer of power, you have to understand. It means at this point, you have to understand it means the opposite. So, Monday's a new world. Get ready to fix bayonets. Figuratively speaking, fix bayonets. because you're going to be walking ankle deep in the deep state's blood and guts by the end of this. I'm telling you, these next 4 years are going to be epic. This time, it's not going to be the last 4 years. This time, we're not going to sit down and swap mosquitoes. We're actually going to drain the swamp. Trump, he's coming back to power, and he's come back in such a completely unpredictable way. If the last 4 years have taught us anything, changes aren't permanent, but change is. Again, think about how far we've come. Just be prepared in the coming weeks and months. Days are approaching where so much will transpire that morning and evening will seem as though they are months apart. But we'll get through it because we have to. Nothing's going to stop us now. Thanks for listening. See you Monday.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
You're listening to 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 W.